We are from the Murray, Utah Little Cottonwood Stake as the agent stake for the Beaver Ridge Campground. This training will cover a few housekeeping items and give you some important information as leaders of your individual camping group. We'll also provide some general use guidelines, many that come from church headquarters and some that are specific only to us. There's no need to take notes. I'll be providing handouts at the end of this training with all of the information that's needed. I'd like to introduce you to our campground managers, Hank Pond and Randy Botcher. Their phone numbers and email addresses are provided here. Feel free to read through some of the assignments of maintaining the campground, and then you'll know when they can be of service to you either before or while you're at the campground so that you can contact them. Now, let me introduce myself. My name is Patty Godfrey, and here I've provided the phone number and an email address where you can reach me if you have any questions about the items listed, such as maps, driving instructions, key codes, your scheduling, and the fees. The purpose of recreational campgrounds is to provide a dedicated outdoor setting for activities. But the primary purpose of these camps is to help the youth feel the spirit and enjoy safe, wholesome recreation. This is the reason the church gives highest priority booking rights to the young women and young men organizations. Of course, stakes, wards, and even individual families may also use these camps for approved activities. One of the most important responsibilities as leadership for your group is to help your group find the campground. The use of the map we provide is going to be key in that it provides not only the map and directions, but it also provides detailed step-by-step instructions. And at the very top right-hand side of this map, it provides the gate codes to open two locked gates that are required before entering Beaver Ridge Campground. Please publish this handout to all of the people that might be driving a vehicle. Of course, you don't want to have to give it out to everyone because it has the gate codes, and we feel that there's no need for everyone to have all of these codes. It's mostly just for drivers. And as I said, there are two locked gates that need to be opened along the way. So please make sure every driver is aware that they need these gate codes and the one-page instruction sheet before they get to that first gate. As I've found from many phone calls over the years, the cell service from beyond this point along the road is not reliable, and campers may not be able to reach anyone via their mobile phones to ask for codes or further instructions. The cell service is great once you get up to the campground, but on the road approaching the campground is it is very spotty and there's no guarantees. Thus, the reason we highly stress that you publish the map with the gate codes. Now, let's talk about the two gates. The first locked gate is automatic. It is the entrance to the Stagecoach Estates subdivision. It's a beautiful gate and it makes it very easy to enter because all you have to do is put in the 4-digit numerical code that is provided for you on the map. No other special characters are needed. Sometimes people think they need to press a pound key or a star key, but it's really only the 4-digit numerical code. Now, when you pass through that gate after it opens for you automatically, then you pass through it, it will close behind your vehicle automatically also. When you're heading back down off the mountain and you're heading home after your camp is over and you approach this gate, it will automatically open as you draw your car closer to it. Just remember, they're happy to let you out with little to no effort. It's getting in where you need the gate codes. Now, the second locked gate is a manual gate. We call it the Bittner Ranch Gate, and our Bittner Ranch neighbors have asked us to keep their privacy gate closed and locked at all times while we're using our church property at Beaver Ridge. And we want to be good neighbors. So, this is one of the most important parts of the mandatory training, and that is for us to teach you how to use this manual gate and then stress to you how important it is that it stay locked at all times with only one exception, and I'll get to that exception in a minute. This gate is located approximately 3 miles to the south of Beaver Ridge. I have found that this picture is helpful in our training so that people know exactly how to get in through this gate. Off to the far right-hand side, where the red arrow is pointing down with a red star on this picture, you can see that there are several lock boxes to choose from that are mounted on the gate. The lock box on the far left side of this selection of lock boxes is for use by the LDS Church Beaver Ridge campers. That is the one we will give you the code to open. Use the code and pull down on the black tab. Inside is where the key to the large padlock is found. After you have that key in hand, walk over to the left side of the gate. See where the arrow is now pointing up towards where that large padlock is housed? You have to put your hand right up inside the housing and unlock that padlock. After you take the padlock out of the loop, then you can walk this gate open manually and let cars drive in and pass through. Then lock the padlock back up, place the key back in the lockbox, close it, and remember to reset the numbers so that it is not set on the code. Now, we said there was one exception to the rule of always keeping this manual gate locked, but it is for large groups only. Most campers arrive in smaller groups with 1, 2, or 3 vehicles. Those small groups can easily give out the map and instructions to drivers. It's the large groups that will have many cars passing through over an hour or so that we've developed this one exception to the rule. We suggest the following solution: gate monitoring. Assign 1 or 2 individuals to remain at the manual Bittner Ranch gate. Leave the gate unlocked and open to allow your group to drive through. Someone must be there manning the gate at all times from your group. We ask you to please do not leave the gate unmanned for any reason. Someone has to stay there at the gate if you're going to leave it open while people are driving through. Let's talk about arrival and departure times. This schedule has been set up especially for when one reservation is stacked on top of another. We're really quite lenient, and if you're enjoying the campground and you'd like to stay longer, please give me a phone call while you're up at the campground, and I can quickly check to see if there's someone else scheduled to come in right behind you. And if not, then we can easily give you permission to stay a little longer in the day. But when we have reservations in the busy part of the summer stacked on top of each other, then we have to set up these guidelines as your arrival and departure times. So on Monday through Friday, we would ask that you do not arrive before 12 noon. Arriving any earlier may impinge on someone else trying to clean up and get out. So we've set 11:30 as the departure time on the last day of your stay, and that applies if your departure day falls on Monday through Friday. On Saturdays, however, it's different because we never have anyone that checks in on a Saturday to sleep overnight to Sunday. And so on that day, when we don't have someone checking in, then we allow you to stay until 3 p.m. Hank Pond, Randy Botcher, and I will be made aware of the campfire burning policies throughout the summer by church headquarters. It's our responsibility to contact you if it's necessary to prohibit campfires during your stay. This is determined by the local law enforcement agencies and state and federal EPA guidelines. If we have contacted you and there is a no-burn policy in effect, then it is your responsibility as the leadership of your group during your week to adhere strictly to and enforce this policy. Next is a little bit of guidance from us on emergency evacuation planning. While establishing your camp, we suggest you become familiar with the property and especially all the roads and trails. While doing so, consider all possible evacuation plans in the event of an emergency or a fire. Depending on the emergency at hand, the best and safest evacuation routes may include trespassing onto or through an adjoining property. The next slide are priorities to consider while you're developing an evacuation plan. Don't forget to call 911 and notify the Summit County Sheriff's Office if there is an emergency. Let them know of the danger and let them know what your suggestions for evacuation are. But if they give you different instructions, please follow their instructions. And our final word on this subject is, as always, please remember to use prayer and the Spirit to guide you as you act in the case of any and all emergencies. I would like to quickly give you a general idea of the boundaries of the church-owned property. If possible, make note of the two campground loops and where they're situated, especially in relation to those boundaries. I find this is helpful to assist you in avoiding trespassing onto private property while you're there. This is a rough draft map of the East Campground Loop, very close to the bottom or south and right side or east of the loop is the bottom corner of those property boundaries. And this is a rough draft of the West Campground within the property boundaries. Here are some of the facilities that are on our campgrounds: the West Campground Pavilion, the East Campground Pavilion, and some new small pavilions that have been built recently on some of the individual campsites on the West Campground. Now let's cover some of the general rules of use. Some of these general rules of use are provided by church headquarters and govern our property. Some of them are our own rules, and we would like to cover those few items with you at this time. And this is page 2 of that rules of use document, and you should have that as a handout. You can follow along and read all of the other rules of use at your leisure. I'll just cover a few of them now. The generators are available for you if you bring up your own gasoline. So please try and determine if you're going to be there at a time when you need to use the generator to light up the pavilion or use electricity for any purpose. Bring your own gasoline. The water will be tested once each month to ensure it's safe for consumption. The first few camps of the summer may have to carry in their own cooking and drinking water until the test results return and confirm it's safe. Check with me or the campground manager. We encourage conservation of water. Don't wash the pavilion floor except for possibly the last day of your camp. Don't run water at spigots for long periods of time. Do not remove water regulator devices. Unscented toilet paper, bring your own toilet paper, and just so you know, for use in the toilets, please bring only unscented toilet paper. And there's no antibacterial soap that should be used close to any of the restroom facilities. It damages the sewage system that's underground near those restroom facilities. When you're using the restrooms, please be sure and shut the doors when you're done. It is an invitation for rodents to want to go inside, nest, get warm. So please always keep the door closed. Regarding firewood, there are fallen trees that have been cut and stacked throughout the campground. If you plan to use these for firewood, please be prepared to split the logs. However, this can be a very specialized process. Unless you're experienced at it, we would like to suggest that you provide your own firewood that is already split and prepared for use in campfires. Sharing the property and supervision of youth. Remember, families, scouting groups, girls' camps, ward camps are many times camping together and sharing the West Campground facilities because those campsites are reserved as individual reservations each site. Please be aware and be courteous to your camp neighbors and provide adequate supervision for your group's youth. Trash and garbage. Don't leave anything behind. Haul out all the trash and garbage and dispose of it in your own local neighborhood. We like to suggest people use their own ward or stake dumpsters if it's too much for your own personal trash cans. The dumpster at the Stagecoach Estates gate is not available for our use. Remember to leave the camp cleaner than when you arrived. And we have provided a little checkout list for you so that you know what is expected when you are cleaning up and clearing out to leave the campground. Thank you for your attendance in this mandatory training for the Beaver Ridge Campground. All of us from the Murray, Utah Little Cottonwood Stake give our appreciation to you for your attention and adherence to these guidelines that we have provided. We would now open the live session up for questions and forward the rest of you that are taking this training online to the quiz and form that can be submitted to me so that I can email you the maps and codes. Thank you.